Hello, Faith Heart family. It's your girl again from the Faith Heart family. And I want to just come to you and share something with you this morning, this evening. Um, I'm not sure where you are, but I want to share this with you. And I'm delighted to be able to come again and share a word with you from the Faith Heart to my Faith Heart family. So I hope everyone is doing well this afternoon, this evening, this morning, wherever you are. I'm not sure where you're located. And I just want to share a word on the standstill faith, of having the standstill faith in your heart. And God has been so good to us, and He wants us to have faith in our heart. So I want to speak again on that standstill faith. And God said in His Word in Exodus 14 and 13, He said to fear not. And He told Moses, fear not, and stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which He will show you today, right now. Stand still. And when you have that standstill faith in your heart, you can believe that God will rest assured that whatever He has set out and leads you to, whatever direction He's leading you to, that He is going to come through. He's going to make sure that you have everything that you need. You won't be lacking anything. He will take care of you. He took care of the children of Israel for 40 years. 40 years, their shoes didn't wear out. Their clothes, He fed them every day. They did not go one day hungry. He fed them. He led them. Pharaoh on their back every day, wanted to kill them. And God protected them for 40 years. 40 years in the wilderness. And I'm going to share some things with you, and I will be looking down because I have some notes. It was so much that God was giving me. I couldn't just grasp it all in my memories. So I wrote down a lot of things that I want to share with you and to let you know, Faith Heart family, that having that standstill faith in your heart is a powerful, powerful, powerful faith. The faith that you can stand still and don't just stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. That's what He told them. That's what He told Moses to tell them. And I'm telling you and sharing it with you today, family, Faith Heart family. Fear not, and stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Amen. Which He will show you today. He will show it to you today. Right now. Just stand still. For whatever it might be that you're expecting God for. Whatever you're expecting Him to bring to pass to you. To bring to manifestation. Whatever it is. I don't know what it is. But you know what it is. But I want to encourage you today, Faith Heart family, to have that standstill faith in your heart. Standstill faith. When you've done all that you know to do, stand still. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Stand still. And I just want to share that with you today. Stand still, Faith Heart family, through the storm, through the rain, through the hurt, and through the pain. Have that standstill faith in your heart. Don't give up. Don't give in. Hold on. Just keep strong. Keep strong and have that standstill faith in your heart. Amen. And with the standstill faith in your heart, God will see you through. God will see you through. I cannot stress this enough. And when I was reading and going over this in Exodus chapter 14, verse 13, and he told Moses, fear not. So when you have that standstill faith in your heart, you don't have to fear, because that's something that the enemy bring up against us, is fear to cripple us, to make us think that things is not going to happen. It's not happening in a timely fashion that it's supposed to. He took care of the children of Israel for 40 years. 40 years. And they didn't like anything. 40 years. And he said, fear not, stand still and see the salvation. Salvation, and you don't have to pay for salvation. You don't have to pay for it. And that's why I'm telling you, don't give up and don't give in. Hold on. Just be strong and courageous. Because if God said it, it should come to pass. And after you've gone through the hurt, and you've done all that you can, after you've gone through the pain over and over and over and over, and you suffered, and you had long suffering through the pain, and you prayed, and you cried, have that, hallelujah, that stand still faith in your heart, faith family. That stand still faith in your heart. And I know that when things is not coming as fast as we thought, because 40 years is a long time. 40 years. And a lot of times we put handcuffs on God. And we don't let God do it in his timetable. We want to do it and think that, it's not coming fast enough. But I want to express to you today, family, right now, to have that stand still faith in your heart. Just stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. And it is totally against our nature as humans to stand still and do nothing when we're facing perplexing trials. Yes, I can relate, because I've been there. I just had a situation just yesterday. I just prayed about something, and then I'm going to go look like it just happened. I understand. And a lot of you all can relate to what I'm saying right now about having that standstill faith in your heart, where you can just stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. You can just stand up and just stand still and say, Lord, I don't understand, but I trust you, and I'm going to stand still. And faith family, if you can have that faith in your heart and trust God through your trials, your perplexing trials, because some of them come and you're like, Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do. We have 3 words. Lord, help me. We don't know what to do. And fight. And fight. It's a matter of fight. Faith Heart family. When we're waiting, and we're waiting patiently for God to act, it's probably the most difficult time of waiting, and to have that standstill faith in your heart. It's difficult. It's a difficult thing along this Christian walk. And even devoted believers panic when the Lord doesn't move according to our timetable. We panic. We panic. And even though we're saying, Lord, we're trusting you, we just have a time. We constantly give God a deadline and time limits. But with that standstill faith in our heart. Because God is not in a hurry. And he's never late. And he's always on time. Stand still. Stand still, Faith Heart family. Stand still. And trust God for directions. Trust God for directions. And I know sometimes the directions we're going is not the way that we're used to going. We're used to going to this familiar way every day to work. This is the way we're going unless there's a detour. And sometimes there'll be a detour because they're doing a construction on the road. There's been an accident on the road. Maybe that accident was something that God was protecting us from. But we're going through a detour. And trust God for the direction that He is leading us, where He's leading us to go. Trust God. And that's when we need to have that standstill faith in our heart, Faith Heart family. See, God led the children of Israel. He led them to the Red Sea. That was God. It wasn't the devil. It was God. He led the children through to the Red Sea so He can take them through the Red Sea. And that was their only way of getting over and getting away from Pharaoh. And Pharaoh was on their tail. They could hear the horses and the chariots coming. God, that the wheels run off, the chariot. But He could have, God was the one that did the heart in Pharaoh's heart. He could have let them suffer out in the wilderness and died and starved them to death. It was a lot of other things He could have did before they got to the Red Sea where the children of Israel was. But God told them He was going to let them see their enemies destroyed. He told them that. And the children of Israel was like, this is not making any sense. We know the only way that we can get where we're going to run into this Red Sea, all this water. What are we going to do? And that's when Moses told them in Exodus 14:13, fear not, and stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which He will show you today. And when God said He's going to show you and show up, He's going to show up and show the enemy how He take care of His people. He's going to show up and show them. Everybody that's doing things to you, God see them. The ones you going to your job, the managers overlooking you, they don't want to give you an increase. You showing up every day being faithful. And you know you're doing your best and doing beyond and above sometimes. They don't want to give you an increase. They're not giving you an increase. They don't want to give you a promotion, what you deserve. You doing your job and the next person's job. They being mean and hateful to you because they in management using abusive power. God see them. God see that spouse that's cheating on you, hurting you, abusing you. God see that. God know you in fear because your bank account is almost empty or maybe empty. He know this. He know the trials and the perplexing trials that you're going through. But is there anything too hard for God? He know this. But God is saying, I am after something in you. He's after something in you, Faith Heart family. He's after something in you. He says, I brought these kind of situations so you can practice your faith. So you can have that standstill faith in your heart, Faith family. God was the one to lead them to the Red Sea. And He says, saying the same thing to you, Faith Heart family. I brought you into these situations and these kind of situations so you can practice your faith when you have lost your job, when you have lost a loved one, when you have lost that marriage, when you have lost your bank account, or your bank account is empty, like I said, or it's almost empty, or it's empty. When sickness has attacked your body, when your mind is being attacked and on the verge of a mental breakdown. He says, I brought you to these kind of situations so you can practice your faith. And I can't stress that enough, Faith Heart family, to keep that faith in your heart. And with faith in your heart, that means God is in your heart. God is in your heart. And I just want to tell you, when you have that standstill faith in your heart, you expecting God to just do what he said he's going to do. And if we could just let go and let God be God. Stop putting a timetable and a time limit on God. There's no time limit on God. There's no time limit on him, no timetable. And like I say, family, he is not in a hurry. And he's never late. And he's always on time. And waiting on God means you have to be quiet and still when you have that standstill faith in your heart. And that is one of the most hardest things to do. Waiting on God means you have to be quiet and still. And that's one of the hardest things to do sometimes. But that's a part of having that standstill faith in your heart. When you come through all the brokenness, the embarrassment, when people lied on you, hurt you, mistreated you, stole from you, broke your heart. But God is not going to break your heart. That's when you have that standstill faith in your heart. And walk by faith and not by sight. And God reminds us of that. Because when he led them to the Red Sea, Pharaoh and his army, God led them through that sea so they can get out there in that sea and that water standing up on both sides. The children of Israel had already made it across. When Pharaoh and his army got out there, come on, Jesus. God, let that water come down on them. And he had it on dry land. Dry land. It was dry. And God have a purpose for everything. And that's when you can have that standstill faith. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Stand still, faith family. Stand still. And I just want to say that to you today. And I'm just so excited when God gave me this about stand still faith in my heart. Stand still faith in your heart. There's nothing that God can do. And it's your faith. It's your faith. It's your faith, family. You decide on how much faith you give. How you use your faith. Because faith without work is dead. It's your faith. And Jesus said if you had the faith of a grain of a mustard seed, you can speak to the mountain and it shall be moved. It's your faith. It's your faith. So keep the faith in your heart, faith, heart, family. And exercise your faith. It's your faith. It's what you do with your faith. It's how much faith you have. I want to have big faith. I know he could do something with a grain of a mustard seed. So I know if I have big faith and abundance faith and stand still faith in my heart, I can stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. And know that God will see me through every perplexed trial and everything that the enemy bring up against me. And yes, it is scary sometimes because we can't see what's on the other side of that Red Sea. All we're doing is going through the Red Sea with water up on both sides, but we're going through. But just to know you could go through the Red Sea, you know that's God. He told him to stand still and see the salvation and be not fearful. And I just want to share that with you today, family, to let you know that to stand still and have that standstill faith in your heart, When you've done all you know that you can do, tell me, what do you do? Tell me, what do you do, family? When you've given you all and seem like you just can't make it through. This is when you have that standstill faith. When you've done all you know to do. When everybody has abandoned you and you're feeling alone. You're in isolation because you just don't know what to do. But I promise you, God is not a man that he shall not, and he cannot, and he will not lie. And if you have that standstill faith and have that standstill faith in your heart, God has a purpose. God has a plan for you. He has a plan for you. He has that goodness and mercy for you that will follow you all the days of your life. He has a plan for you. That yea, though you walk through the valley, you won't fear no evil. He didn't say you was going to stay in the valley. He said walk through the valley. He has a plan for you. And I encourage you today, Faith Heart family, to keep faith in your heart. Because if you got faith in your heart, you got God. You got God in your heart. You have God in your heart when you have faith in your heart. And I just want to share this with you, that when you have that standstill faith in your heart, watch the Lord see you through. Watch the Lord see you through like he saw them through the Red Sea. He saw them through. And yes, I'm saying that sometimes it is scary. It's hurtful. It's painful. It don't feel good. It don't taste good. It don't smell good. But with that standstill faith in your heart, with this standstill faith in your heart, Faith Heart family, watch the Lord see you through. With that standstill faith in your heart, you can smile again. Remember with that standstill faith in your heart, when the enemy attack your mind, the battle is not yours. It's the Lord, because that's the first thing the enemy tried to do, is attack our mind. But with that standstill faith, you can keep your mind on Jesus. You can keep your mind on going through that Red Sea. You can keep your mind on seeing the ones that mistreated you. God said he would allow you to see him attack your enemies that's coming up against you. I don't know who your enemies are. And some of us, we don't know who the enemy are. Sometimes you're surprised to know that an individual is having some kind of art against you when you're being kind to them. And you find out later that they're the enemy. That's when you can stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. See the salvation of the Lord. And I want to encourage you today, Faith Heart family, to have that stand still faith in your heart. And when we're standing still, we have to stand still and be quiet. And that's one of the hardest things to do when we're waiting on God, is to be quiet and stand still. And trust him. Believe him. Know that he will see you through. Know that you will be able to cross over the Red Sea. You will go through the Red Sea. You will go over the Red Sea and walk over the Red Sea on dry land. You will walk over. You will walk through it. That's that standstill faith. That's power all by itself. And I encourage you, the family. I mean, my family, my Faith Heart family. I love you guys. And I thank you for loving me. And keep the faith in your heart. And God just had this in my heart for a couple of days about this standstill faith, and watch him see you and me through whatever we're going through. We're headed into a new year. We don't know what's coming up against us, but I promise you God will get you through that Red Sea. Keep that standstill faith in your heart. He will get you through another year. He got you through this year. We only have a few more days left. So whatever you're facing, stand still faith in your heart. I don't know what you need. Some of us need a financial blessing. Some of us need a new car. Some of us need a new home. Some of us need our kids to start acting right. Some of us need a blessing in our health. Some of us need a blessing in our finance. Some of us need a blessing in our mind. But whatever you need, stand still, and God will take you through that Red Sea. He will take you through your Red Sea experiences that you're going through right now with that standstill faith in your heart. Trust him. He loves us. He loves us. And you don't have to put a time on God. You don't have to put a time on him. And we can take our hands off and take the handcuffs off God, because he don't need no help, because he's God all by himself. And I want to encourage you this evening, family, to continue to keep that standstill faith in your heart. And with faith in your heart, I cannot stress it enough, family. My Faith Heart family, that's God in your heart. That's God in your heart. And it's your faith. It's your faith, family. It's your faith. And use your faith. What are you going to do with your faith? What are you going to do with your faith? What do you have in your heart? Do you have faith in your heart? Do you have faith in your heart? Good. Because if you do, you have God in your heart. You have God. And I encourage you, family, to use your faith. And I want to have big faith again in my heart. I want abundance. I want the abundance. I want big faith. And I want big faith for you too, family, to have big faith in your heart so God can bless you abundantly. He said that. He comes so we can have life and have an abundance. So have abundance, faith in your heart. And keep the faith in your heart. Keep that faith in your heart. And God will, the things that you're expecting him for and these crises that you're going through, the manifestation that you are expecting, it should come to pass. It should come to pass. And we're going to keep the faith in our heart, family, and we're going to walk in faith and believe God, and we're going to walk by faith and not by sight. And I want to leave this with you, family. We come this far by faith. I love you, Faith Heart family. Y'all have a good evening, a good morning, a good night, wherever you are. And if you agree with me, type stand still faith in the comments, like the button, hit the thumbs up button, and subscribe, because I'm going to be coming back with some other stuff. And I thank you for supporting me and listening to me. And I love you, Faith Heart family. Y'all have a good evening. And remember, with faith in your heart, God in your heart. Thank you, family.